Hi, my name's Rachel, and today we will be talking about and tier ranking the stupidest fantasy protagonists that I have ever read. I have read a lot of books. I've read hundreds of books since I have been doing this BookTube thing, and some of these fantasy main characters are the absolute stupidest people that you will ever have the displeasure of reading about, and for some reason, I'm supposed to be rooting for them. I asked my audience, I asked my patrons first, and then I asked my wider audience here on YouTube to submit who they thought was the stupidest fantasy protagonist that I have ever read. Now, some of you submitted some names that are from books that I have not ever read. From books like The Stars Are Dying and A Feather So Black. One person submitted David from the Bible, which was absolutely hysterical to me. But I'm going to be tier ranking who I think is the stupidest fantasy protagonist. And my God, are there more of them than I should be able to name off the top of my head. What's interesting is these people are supposed to be smart because, you know, the stakes are high because it's fantasy books, but unfortunately, these main characters are so stupid, and I don't know how anybody trusts them to get anything done. How am I supposed to trust you to save the world when you can't pick up on context clues? If these people were to submit like a resume or make themselves like a website of their qualifications, here's why you should hire me to save the world, the list of reasons would be so low. Carries dagger, makes quippy jokes, but also can't pick up on context clues, ignores blatantly obvious hints, doesn't ask logical questions. I wouldn't hire any of these people to save the world, and yet they're supposed to. If you need to market yourself and your skills, hopefully you have more than these fantasy protagonists, but if you need to do that, you can do so with the help of today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Squarespace can help you make any type of website to help you stand out in the vast ocean that is the internet and effectively market yourself or your book. Squarespace is an all-in-one website building platform that makes it super easy for you to have a beautiful and professional looking website of your own for you to create and sell whatever it is that you create or sell. Or just talk to your audience in blog format. Maybe you're an editor looking to promote your services. Maybe you can help some people fix their bad fantasy protagonists and you can showcase your editing skills. Or maybe you're a book cover artist looking to showcase your work and get new clients. Or you're an author looking to sell your book. Anything you do, Squarespace can help you showcase it and market it. Your goods, your services, yourself, or just your thoughts. My website is readswithrachel.com. It has all the places that you can find me, info about my book club. You can join my book club Discord from there. I have a contact form. I have FAQs. Squarespace made this so easy for me to set up because I don't know anything about website creation. But Squarespace is great because they have templates. You just customize it according to your preferences, even if that includes selling your merchandise. And no worries if you have no experience selling merchandise. Me either. Squarespace has e-commerce tools and a custom merch service. You just utilize it without having to worry about things like production and shipping. So whatever your online presence is, or your business is, or maybe both, Squarespace can help you organize it, market it to your audience, and help you find your place on the internet. For a free trial, go to squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, you can use the QR code on the screen or go to squarespace.com/readswithrachel for 10% off your first domain or website. That's squarespace.com/readswithrachel. The link is down below. And thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Shout out to my assistant Lou, who put all of this together because I do not know how to do tier ranking videos, which is why I've never done them before, if you were wondering. So let's get into it. I feel like the best way to do this is for me to simply do it like this because Carlos isn't home again, and I don't know how to set up my camera as a webcam. So you're stuck with my shitty skills. You're welcome. What we have here is, I'm hoping, if I'm editing this correctly, I have my tier rank list on the screen. So for my tier list, I have I am stupider for having met this character as the worst, absolutely no awareness, spatial or otherwise, would give their name to a fairy without question, sharp as a bowling ball, or 2 brain cells fighting for second place. Now, I will say that some of these people aren't really stupid. Some of them are just corny with an H and simply allow that to dictate their choices. And sometimes, well, that's it. They're corny with an H and that dictates their choices. So some of these people aren't as stupid as the others. Lou put this all together for me. Huge shout out to Lou because I don't know how to do this tier ranking stuff, and all of these tiers are from my patrons except for this one, which was just for me. I put I am stupider for having met this character. I needed that. I needed you to know that's how I genuinely feel, is some of these people made me more stupid. Lou put this together, which means that some of these she gave me like an index of who is who. Let's start here. She said this is Aylin apparently. So Aylin, I would not say is actually stupid. She can be kind of, I mean, some things kind of go over her head. Out of all of these people, I feel like Aylin is not very stupid. So sometimes she can put her, romantic inclinations before anything else. And sometimes it's just like pride, but I'd take like arrogance and pride over some of these people just like genuinely miss things that I don't know how you missed it. For Aylin, we're just gonna go 2 brain cells fighting for second place. Sometimes that's true of her, but like, I mean, yeah, she's a little stupid, but not like, I'm definitely not stupider for having read Aylin as a main character. This next one is Alina from Shadow and Bone. I mean, I don't think Alina is, I'm surprised that that Alina's on here. I sometimes, sure. I think the stupidest thing that Alina does is like pine after Mal when Mal in the book sucks. And then obviously like she's a 16-year-old and she's going after like a 200-year-old man and there's, some dumbness. I think that Alina is also going to have to go on to brain cells fighting for second place. I don't think she's that stupid. I have a soft spot for Shadow and Bone still, less of a soft spot for Throne of Glass, but like certainly like I don't think Alina's that bad. She could be worse. Again, it's just like stupid, like pining, especially, and like she's young. So like she's not that bad. It could be worse. This I know is Amaris from, this is Amaris from what's the Night and Its Moon. She's the moon in the equation. Sometimes Amaris is really stupid, but like the writing itself is more stupid than anything. But like sometimes I would say Amaris is kind of stupid. Like, are they stupid or are they annoying? Because there's a difference. Do I find Amaris annoying? Yes. But I think that between the two of them, I think that Nox, who's like supposed to be the smarter character, is actually missing a lot of clues. Amaris, like there's no real clues for her to pick up on. Nothing really happens with Amaris except she like is the love interest. Wait, no, she is the person who gets all the love interests. She's still mad at Gadriel, and she's like, all she could think about was the sting of how he'd answered the master's inquiries when he'd said, we fought together and obeyed. She couldn't her response was reactionary, emotional, and something she needed to get over, not discussed. Not discuss. Her misunderstanding was not his burden to bear, but hers to grow through. So you understand that it was a misunderstanding? Then why are you still mad? If you misunderstood, then you understand the actual context, so why are you still mad? What? The Rascot Fae were not friends. Gadriel did not consider her as much as a companion. But you just said you misunderstood. So you do know or you don't know that he doesn't think of you as just somebody who he fought together with and obeyed. And why is that a bad thing? Like, it's not like he said, I don't know, some lady that like was following me around and shit's really annoying. He said a factual statement. And maybe he's just being wary. Like, isn't she supposed to be like street smart since she's, a not witcher? Maybe he's just trying to not give information to random strangers from not only a different country, but at a university. He doesn't know who they report to. Like, what? The context of this doesn't make any sense. Why is she so mad? It's a smart move on his part. It had been a weakness, a misunderstanding, a weak, stupid hope that she conflated with truth. So now you misunderstood by thinking that he wasn't friends with you? What? All of this is unnecessary. I don't know that I would call her stupid, but she's also, I think, less smart than Alina and who's this? Aylin. So I'm gonna put Amaris on sharp as a bowling ball. I don't think she's that smart, but I mean, like like figuring out like the whole like where those Fae come from in the first scene with like Gadriel. I don't know, like all of that felt kind of stupid to me, but like she could be worse. Similarly, we have Bryce from Crescent City, and I think that Bryce is just horny. I don't think she's stupid. I think she's actually smarter than, does this mean I have to move Alina up? I think Bryce again is I'm being so nice so far. What's happening? I think that Bryce is not I think she's smart. I think I'm smarter than the rest of these people, probably. I don't think she's that dumb. I think she's just horny, and I don't like the plot of those books, and I don't like Bryce as a character. I don't like being around her. I think that out of all of the characters that Sarah J. Maas has written, Bryce is like one of the least stupid. Man, I feel so nice so far. What's happening? All right, so who's this? Corvina Clem. Never mind, we're not being nice anymore. I am stupider for having met Corvina Clem. Corvina Clem is so fucking stupid. First of all, like the book itself is just written poorly and she is annoying, but on top of that, she is stupid. The fact that you didn't pick up on certain clues makes absolutely no fucking sense. She's just like, I don't know. What are those voices in my head? I don't know. Who could say? I'm not gonna investigate it. Why would I investigate it? Why wouldn't you investigate it? That's my question. Help me out here. Help, please. I'm begging you. He's like, it's not safe out there. I could have been anyone. I could have done anything to you and then left you here. Jail, jail, jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Straight to jail. But Corvina's not scared because she recognizes that the crow knows him. And that makes this creepy ass man trustworthy because God knows birds just never have bad taste in humans.
And I was my wit's end.
She goes off again alone with Vod. Great decision making. And he asks her to tell him what is going on. Vod finds out information about her and tells her he wants her to like explain stuff while they're fooling around. And she's like, isn't this a weird conversation to explain my backstory further while we're fooling around? And it says, it will keep your mind from hyperventilating. Hey, did you know that minds could ventilate? Me neither. Everybody's so creative. Corvina is one of the stupidest main characters I've ever had the displeasure of dealing with. That's probably still the worst book that I've ever read. Somebody put David from the Bible in the feedback. David is dumb horny, but I'm just for the sake of it, I'm gonna put David in would give their name to a fairy without question because I think that David would definitely do that with God. Like in this case, God's the fairy. That feels like a loaded sentence. I feel like David is dumb in the way that he would get, like I'm sure he's like a strategist. And man, my mother would be so upset at me shitting on David from the Bible, but I feel like David from the Bible would give his name to a fairy without question. And yes, I do think that that is stupid. In a way, David from the Bible is stupider than Bryce from Crescent City. Somehow. So this is, according to my glossary here, this is supposed to be Denna from The Name of the Wind. I don't feel like Denna is very stupid. In fact, I feel like we don't get a lot of Denna. I feel like she's pretty smart. It's just that she's really underutilized. She does seem to have things going on with the big bads of the series, but we don't really know much because, you know, the third book never came out. I wouldn't consider Denna to be stupid. I'm surprised that somebody feels like that's the stupidest main character, and also she's not a main character. She's a side of the side character. So some of these like didn't exactly fit, and David is definitely a main character of the Bible. But I don't think Denna fits as like a stupid protagonist because she's not really a protagonist. She's a side character, and also she's not stupid. She's just using what she has available to her to like make her life better. And Quoth is like constantly pining after her, but she's constantly like dealing with her patron, whatever that's supposed to mean. I don't think she's that stupid. Now, if we're gonna get into, and it looks like we are, some idiots. All right, I have a lot of feelings about the Caraval series and its extended books. These people are stupid as hell. The thing about Donatella is that Donatella is really stupid. Donatella is written, there are these paragraphs where you're like told that Donatella is supposed to be like the sassy one, but she's supposed to be the girl boss, and instead she's just really stupid and a little sarcastic, whereas Scarlet is really stupid and not sarcastic. Great. If Donatella were actually smart, she would concoct a scheme, an elaborate scheme, and instead of it resulting in her planned suicide to manipulate her sister like last time, she could concoct an elaborate scheme resulting in Legend or someone else revealing Legend's name. But instead, she's stupid and relies on everyone to lie to her, especially Dante, for 300 fucking pages. But she's not as stupid as her sister, so if Scarlet's on here, Scarlet's going at the fucking top, because Scarlet is a fucking idiot. But Donatella is a little bit less of an idiot. I assume that this is Evangeline from Once Upon a Broken Heart. Evangeline is significantly stupider than Donatella. And Evangeline, having all of the same amount of brain cells as a fucking pet rock, is like, gee, I betcha that Jax is part of the Merrywood Three. Now, if we're looking at what the Merrywood Three constitutes, he probably is not Castor Valor, considering Castor Valor is in fact dead. He probably is not a Slaughterwood because, I mean, why would he like want to open the Valerie Arch if the Valor family made it and they tried to have revenge on the Slaughterwoods? Robin Slaughterwood is also obviously a Slaughterwood, and like, wouldn't they know each other if they were related? So that leaves one more Evangeline, the Archer. But Evangeline just cannot get there on her own because she is stupid. Evangeline snoops and eavesdrops on Lala and Jax, and she finds out that Lala was the one to curse Apollo both times. I thought y'all were friends for 5 seconds. It's at this point where I'm like, bitch, why do you bother ever trusting anyone? You are clearly so stupid. You literally started this book by writing a letter to yourself saying, do not trust Jax. What did you do? You went to somebody else who's untrustworthy who told you to trust Jax. Come on. After your own sister fucked you over royally, literally, in the last book, are you perhaps short of all of your marbles? I don't know if Evangeline or Scarlet, I don't know who's worse or if they are equal. Like, Evangeline completely ignoring blatant red flags like that people are saying in front of her or in conversations that she's eavesdropping on is like, I'm shocked at how stupid she is. Like, I don't understand enjoying that book because all of that series is so unenjoyable to me because those main characters are so stupid. Now, Donatella is a little bit less stupid, but I don't know how she didn't realize that her love interest was who he was. It was said several times. That series wants to write twists and turns so bad, and it cannot succeed at it. Oh my God, Evie from Assistant to the Villain. Absolutely, I am stupider for having met Evie from Assistant to the Villain. I don't think anybody sees blatant clues to things and just decides to avoid them altogether, quite like Evangeline does. He's a murderer, but the majority of her found him too pretty to care. This is the introduction. And while I understand it's supposed to be a little silly, this is an imbalanced amount of silly for an introduction. I barely know this woman, but I already know that she is willing to forgive murder for some dimples. I sort of want to reach through the book already at this point and shake her and tell her to get a grip, which does not bode well for the rest of the book. Again, we are in the prologue. And then he tells her that she doesn't need to worry about him giving her sister his whole government name because it's literally on a plaque in his office. And I'm listening to her be like, no, it's not. I would have noticed it. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? So everybody has seen this on his desk and nobody calls him by his first name. Why did he even put that on his desk? And how did his assistant just not see it? Like, are we really building our main character to be this fucking stupid on purpose? Are you serious? Why? Not only does she not know that her boss, who she's the assistant to, has a plaque on his desk that has his name on it, but I'm supposed to believe that this same woman is able to figure out that he had a fucking bomb in his desk? I've never seen the like of it. It's bonkers. I mean, sure, like we're running on a hamster wheel with Evangeline over here. Wait, Evangeline and Evie. That's not confusing. We have Evangeline from Once Upon a Broken Heart and then Evie Sage, also Evangeline from Assistant to the Villain. Both Evies are stupid. Both Evangelines are box of rocks stupid. And both of them do the same thing where they'll like eavesdrop on conversations, hear things, and then just immediately discard that. And then when it comes back later, it's like, oh, how was I supposed to know? Because you were told multiple times. And that series really pisses me off. Like, this one is for teens, so like I give it a little bit more of a pass, but this one's for adults. Like, there's no reason why a 25-year-old woman should be written like that. Next up, we have I wanted to call her Freya, but that's a different one. Farah. I mean, just like from chapter 1 of A Court of Thorns and Roses, if I, a human, knew that the Fae were like a volatile, not great bunch of people, it's because, and here's why I think specifically she needs to go right here. Would give their name to a fairy without question, because didn't she do that? But the thing about it is if I were a human and I knew that the Fae were like stronger, smarter, faster, volatile, I would not shoot something that clearly didn't look like a normal wolf. I would be like, no, that seems like a trap. That seems like a bad idea. And for that reason, Farah book 1, to me, is an idiot. Also, she's told, hey, don't run. There's a bunch of danger friends out and about, oot and boot, and consistently still tries to run away into the danger. For though each of my strikes land a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow.
I have no clue.
The answer is love.
Motherfucker. I mean, it's not a bad riddle.
But Farrah's stupid as fuck, and she doesn't get it.
Did my best Farrah impression there. It's fucking stumped.
Farrah is traumatized because of what happened. She killed 2 innocent people.
She killed the fucking wolf at the beginning. She didn't do nothing but
That's a really fucking good point.
Was he guilty?
Not you spotting a plot hole that I never even thought of.
Like, oh, I feel so bad. Those 2 people were innocent. Like, bitch, you didn't know the wolf.
That's a really good point.
He wasn't doing nothing.
He was just running around, paws out.
He was just wolfing around. Yeah.
He was just trying to hell at the moon in peace. Now, she's more stupid and annoying, but she is stupid. I also think that, I'm not sure if this is more stupid or shitty, but like the way that she treats her sister, I feel like is stupid. It's stupid to like treat Nesta, and I'm not like a huge Nesta apologist. It's just that the way that Farrah treats Nesta, it doesn't really make sense. Like the way that she allows everybody to treat Nesta is stupid and shitty, and I don't get it. Like there's no logical reason behind it. She's just like, we all hate Nesta. Why? Like your other sister sucks too. And I just feel like that might be a quality of the writing, but I do feel like Farrah is stupid and that she would give her name to a fairy without question, and I'm pretty sure that she did. The next one is, who is this? Oh my god, Freya. I don't know if she should go in top tier or right here. She's definitely less smart than Donatella. I don't know if she's as bad as Corvina Clem. She's pretty fucking stupid, and I did feel stupider for having read that book. If I were Freya, I would be like, I bet you it is for the taking, and if I conspire with somebody else to kill Snorri, then maybe I could ally myself with a better Jarl and get the fuck out of this situation and make my circumstances better. But no, Freya doesn't make plans. Freya's over here just thinking about having sex with this guy who surely will be better sex than the only sex she's had before. In her head is saying stuff that is, you know, a little wacky, a little outlandish, a little violent, and she doesn't think anything of this. Like, if I'm hearing voices and I know that I have a god's blood in me, I'm gonna start to think, maybe it's the gods, right? Maybe the gods are talking to me. But this never even occurs to her, which further just makes my case that this main character is fucking stupid.
Truly, you have a dizzying intellect. Wait till I get going!
The biggest reason I think she's stupid is because it's very clear to anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together that Bjorn is hiding something. But for some reason, this just like goes right over the main character's head. And I just had like a genuinely really bad time with it. Like from the jump, it was bad. And she was annoying, but she's also really stupid. Again, just not picking up on those context clues, ignoring blatantly obvious things. I just don't understand her as a heroine. Why am I supposed to be rooting for her? I do feel like I am stupider for having read A Fate Inked in Blood. I really, really do. She's another one that's like blatantly like just running full speed at the obvious, and then she just passes right by it. Like, she's genuinely really fucking stupid. But I'm not sure if she is I'm gonna move her down, and I'll tell you why. Because this bitch is stupider. Isla Crown from Lightlark is truly egregiously stupid. I mean, and that's also just part of the book is stupid. The book is like stupidly written, plot holes galore, including in the second one. But Isla and missing clues is exhausting. It doesn't help that the answer was an egg. Isla is really, really stupid, and I was stupider for having read Lightlark. The second one was so bad that it burnt me out, and I couldn't even like really, really finish the review of the second book. Like, I just wrapped it up, which similarly happened to me with Age of Scorpius. Oh my god, you will not believe what's next to me. Yeah, I have the hardcover too. Age of Scorpius also did this to me, but much worse. But also, Isla's really stupid. Like, the fact that she is missing such blatantly obvious things is bonkers to me. Like, she doesn't even ask, again, like, this is like the same thing over and over. It's just a bunch of people who don't ask obvious questions. I don't really feel like it's fair for Jude to be on here, because I don't think Jude is stupid at all. I think that like Jude got played pretty bad and like felt pretty stupid. She got outmaneuvered, and that was honestly funny. Like, I loved seeing her fail so badly, but I don't think that Jude from The Cruel Prince is actually stupid. So I'm putting her on the very bottom, because I just don't feel like she deserves to be on here, and I'm not sure why she's catching strays here. But somebody who really does not deserve to be on here is Laia of Sarah from An Ember in the Ashes. I refuse to even put her here. I refuse to even put her on here. How dare you? I don't understand. Laya has intentionally been kept like subjugated, is like 16 years old, doing her best, and it's not like she gets like manipulated by beings like a million times older than her. And I feel like I'm giving her more of a pass to do this than I'm giving Alina. Like, I still put Alina on here, but Alina was pining for Mal, and that was stupid. But Laya from An Emperor in the Ashes does not deserve to be on here. I don't know why and who would say such a thing. You know who does deserve to be on here? Not quite at the top, but definitely has absolutely no awareness, spatial or otherwise, is Marlowe from The Deer and the Dragon. I don't know how we got to, I don't know, I guess I'm just ill. I'm mentally ill because I'm seeing this guy. You're waking up with him having made chia pudding for you, and you're like, I guess I made this while I was asleep. Bitch, what? Set up a camera. How? Fauna's like, you dumb bitch. You keep giving your whole government name to preternatural entities. Stop doing that. Certain questions are being asked, and like certainly Fauna is dumping some info in our lap, but I just get really frustrated when a main character does not ask the most obvious, most basic questions to ask in that moment. This is happening here, and I kept thinking, okay, in the next chapter she's gonna ask the basic questions, and then she doesn't, and I'm like, okay, in the next chapter she's definitely gonna ask, and then she doesn't. Caliban's going to be really mad at me. Yeah, well, it's partially Caliban's fault for sending your dumbass in there with no plan, as usual. Why do we keep doing this? We're just going around in a circle. Let's never make a plan and then deal with the fallout, and never make a plan and deal with the fallout. Like, if I were having like a demon boyfriend show up, I don't know how I would immediately not try at least like a little bit. Try, like, I'm lazy, but I would try a little bit to rule out whether or not he was actually a real person. I would certainly try. Marlowe didn't even try. She was just like, he's fake, he's not real, I give up, I guess I'm mentally ill, and that's that, and that's the end of it, and that's the end of that conversation. Like, what do you mean? Also, the writing's pretty bad. Like, I'll never forget the word, the name of the country, Colombia, being spelled Columbia. Writing's pretty bad. Marlowe definitely has absolutely no awareness, spatial or otherwise. Somebody who probably shouldn't be on here, who like misses a few clues but not that bad, is Oriya from Serpent and the Wings of Night. I don't really feel like she's that dumb. She's kind of stupid sometimes, but she's more horny than anything else. And sure, she missed some stuff, but I really had more of like a side characters, world building romance issue with that book. I don't really consider her to be stupid. She just sort of feels like a knockoff of every other Romantasy character I've ever read. But I wouldn't say that she's stupid. Look how nice I'm being, by the way. Just FYI. Now, this bitch is in a category of her own. No, she's in a category right here. No, she belongs here. Absolutely. Peyton Gray from Powerless deserves to be here. Here's one example, one singular example, okay? First of all, I don't know how you confuse blood and honey. Second of all, if you were let go by a guy who says that he's out to get you, who gives you a head start, I don't know why you'd hole up in the apartment where he knows that you resided in until the last possible second, and then you skedaddle. You had time and a half, baby, to get the hell out of there and get to safety, and you just what? Took a nap? What were you doing with all that time? Peyton is really stupid. Like, I absolutely am stupider for having read her as a main character. I don't understand the love of Peyton Gray because she is unreadable. Truly just unreadable as a main character. She bumps into this dude and he has a secret pocket. She's pickpocketing. He has a secret pocket on his jacket which has a piece of folded parchment within, and on an impulse I can't explain or justify, decide to palm that too before sliding my hand out and shyly looking up into the guy's face. And so when she walks away, she reads the note. She just happened to bump into this dude, okay? This was not planned. This was not set up. It should have been, because that would have been way more smart. She just happened to bump into this man, okay? And he has a note. He happens to have a note in his pocket, which she happens to have pickpocketed, that says, meeting begins midnight, White House between Merchant and Elm, bring the supplies. That's my house. Well, that was my house. This is the least curious bitch that I've ever seen in my life. If I happened to bump into a guy who just happened to have a note that said, my address, be there tonight, the same address I booked it out of because my dad got stabbed in the chest by the king 5 years previously, seriously, you bet your sweet ass that my curious ass is gonna be there. 100%. In fact, I'm actually gonna go run and find that dude that I just bumped into and be like, the fuck is this? The fuck is this? Why are you in my house? The future enforcer, the deliverer of death. I'm dead as the plague. And she's like, I should find him repulsive since the very kingdom he's so loyal to makes me sick with its twisted values and belief. He's the future enforcer, the executioner of innocence, of ordinaries, of people like me. You absolutely should be disgusted. Like immediately when I find out that somebody's a piece of shit, they are no longer attractive to me. I find them repulsive. That's what should happen to you. But alas, I guess not. And because of that, this year's trials will look a little different. Different? All because there's royal blood competing? No, because it's the future enforcer. Are you stupid? And then she says, show us what you can do. Now I'm blinking at her. How the hell am I supposed to do that? What do you mean? You said a chapter ago that your dad trained you for this. What do you mean? You were trained? Mommy! She's in the palace, right? You'd think like she'd do some investigating, like, hey, I finally have an opportunity to find out what the fuck happened to my dad. Not even a singular time does she think of such a thing. Not even once. That makes sense to anybody else? No? Me neither. I'm suddenly crushed by the weight of what I've done. No, what I haven't done. Adina, I vowed to visit her and yet only remembered to do so as soon as it was convenient for me. Wow, that is very self-aware. You are in fact a piece of shit friend. Great work. And she talks to Lenny, her guard, and he's like, oh yeah, you could bring her in here. That'd be fine. And I'm like, how did you not think of this sooner? You are supposed to be clever. Oh, Prisha. Prisha's really dumb. Prisha is really stupid. Like the way that she doesn't understand that her own magic could be used to help her is ridiculous. That entire book, A Court So Cruel and Lovely, was utterly ridiculous. The next morning, the bearded giant who tried to kill me was hanging from a hook dead. Great. He had gotten the key to her room from the innkeeper. I guess he stole it or something. And the way that he died was his hands were no longer attached to his body. I wasn't sure exactly when Lorien had killed him. He would have done it himself rather than sending one of the others. I don't know how you would know that. Don't you hate that guy and vice versa? Sometimes when I looked at Lorien, I didn't recognize him. Yeah, that's because he's a whole stranger. Yep. That tracks. You shouldn't recognize him at all. He's a whole stranger. You've known him for 2 days. The man in my dreams had been approachable, like a sated tiger. What are you talking about? So she looks at this assessor and it says, I mouthed the prayers and made my own vow. Before I left this castle, whether it was out the front gates, through the tunnel in the dungeon, or through that same tunnel to the stake, the king's assessor would be dead. Now, bitch, I have heard you make such plans before. You wanted revenge on those men who left you by the river, and now you're planning to f one of them. So are you also gonna f the assessor? Who's to say? Who's to say? You don't seem like you have good follow through, is all I'm saying. You make a lot of empty threats. Prisha could not find logic, even if it had wiggled itself inside of her brain, gone up her nose while she was fully conscious, she would still miss it. Now the list is starting to get longer on the stupid side. I'm no longer being nice. Okay, so here's another example of somebody who I feel like missed probably a couple things that were pretty obvious, but not like to an embarrassing degree like these girly pops up here, right? I feel like Rave from When the Moon Hatched, she could have been stupider. She could have missed like blatant clues. I feel like Sarah A. Parker is like trying. At least she's trying. Like I gave that book a 2. Similarly, I gave The Serpent and the Wings of Night a 2. Throne of Glass I gave a 3. Shadow and Bone I gave a 3. Crescent City a 2. Cruel Prince a 3. So like this makes sense because when a character is stupid and it pisses me off, it ends up more at the top. Okay, Ceres is pretty stupid. It says like the gold comes alive and she just thinks nothing of this. She can hear it saying, she sees us, she feels us, she sees us, she feels us. And she just, I guess, just ignores this. Metal's talking to you and you're just ignoring it. Can't relate. If my bracelet started saying shit to me, I'm taking that shit off immediately and I'm telling my husband. And the writing, it's like, I don't know if it's more that the writing is stupid because the book, like the author clearly doesn't know what words mean and also doesn't like stick with her own logic. So I'm not sure if this is the book's, like the book overall or just the character was written in a way that was stupid, but she's pretty stupid. But so is the book. Like there was even one point where it's like, make a deal with this hot fae guy who says that he has to go find your brother, and then he brings back a guy who isn't her brother, and she doesn't think, okay, so now is the pact that we made a moot point? She's just like, that's not my brother. And then we just move on to the fact that he's like, well, I brought him because he smells like your vagina. Sorry, my kid is right over there. That was pretty stupid. I wouldn't say that she's as stupid as Peyton, Isla, Evie's, and definitely Corvina Clem, dumbest of the dumb, but she's pretty stupid. And here we have Scarlet. Scarlet from Caraval. When I read this, it was like back in 2018, and I was anticipating liking it, and I was so upset. I'm like, can I trust Julian? Is he lying to me? Bitch, you have known him for 5 seconds. Probably. I mean, he went along with a plot to drug you and kidnap you, but all right. When we first meet him, he's allegedly making out with her sister, but by the time they get to the island, they've allegedly broken up. I don't know, it's stupid. Everything's stupid. That is one of the absolute stupidest people that I've ever had the displeasure of reading. I just don't understand how you miss clues in every single scene that you're in, every single solitary scene that you're in. She's just lied to over and over, and she just accepts every lie as truth because she's so stupid. She doesn't interrogate anything that's happening. She doesn't ask questions. She's just like a cardboard box that's just floating from scene to scene. Oh, now this person tells me this is true? Sure thing. I believe it because I'm Scarlet. And then in the end, it's her sister who gets one over on her in the absolute worst way, revolving like a faked death by suicide in order to manipulate Scarlet. So even like the sister knew that Scarlet was so stupid that she would be like manipulated into making only one move because Scarlet can only be counted on to do one thing in every scene that she's in. It's so stupid. Okay, here we have the twins from Zodiac Academy. This is a really big case of, I'm not sure if these people are stupid in particular outside of like the rest of the book. Like it really has to it has to be that, because I don't think that Stephanie Garber is like a bad writer, like an unintelligent person who can't string a sentence together. It's just like, I think that she makes characters who are like that. But Zodiac Academy, I mean, the whole book is just nonsense. Like, it's just nonsensical. So then she goes to her buyer to buy the bike where she sells her stolen vehicles typically. And he's like, bro, I can't take this. This is an extremely expensive bike. You should know this. And I'm like, yeah, she should know this, seeing as she's been doing this for a while. How does a seasoned vehicle thief not know this? I just, no continuity. Vega, that's not my name. Please tell me you've got the wrong twins. That's your true surname in Solaria. No one will call you anything else once you get there. Mark my words. Why? That's my question. Why? We don't know. We don't know. And we won't know the whole book. We won't know. Let me give you a little more context. She says, excuse me, what drug are you on exactly? I'm gonna guess coke. Wrong questions. Wrong questions to be asking. You're asking the worst questions of all time. I don't know how you got so stupid. Maybe it's all the gasoline fumes. I don't know. Wow, what the fuck is wrong with these main characters? He's like, just humor me. And Darcy says, you haven't explained anything. And he won't, because you will never ask the right questions. And why should we believe anything you say anyway? You shouldn't. But anyway, that's besides the point. He snatched up a satchel, flipping it over and pouring the contents out on the coffee table. And in it is their entire foster care file and a bunch of pictures of them and their parents. And we will never know why he had all of this. I read this entire book. And this never gets explained. And every character is like that, and they all feel like, I don't know, something about Zodiac Academy is like the whole book is just bad and stupid. These girlies are pretty stupid though. Absolutely no awareness, spatial or otherwise. I'm gonna put them there because I can't really differentiate if it's like the Zodiac Academy thing itself or it's that these two characters in isolation from the rest of the book are stupid enough to land them up here. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Next, we're gonna do Ren from Silver Elite. This is a case where it's like, do I put you here because it's not quite as bad as the rest of these, or do I put you here because most of your shit is just being stupid and horny? But she doesn't ask a lot of logical questions. And she's just like, I need to get out of here, but also I want to bone soldiers. But why? Why do you want to do that? This woman exclusively, when she has schmecks, only has schmecks with soldiers, which is a really weird choice for a person who grew up in the Blacklands and should know better than to make bad choices, but okay. So the soldier that she's just done the nasty with is like, you're not gonna run out on me, are you? And she is in fact trying to run out on him, which seems again like a terrible fucking choice. I don't know why you would sleep with men. I don't know why you would sleep with men who could be volatile, who are in that position of power over you. Again, this seems like such a bad choice. And at first it says, I try not to make a habit of falling into bed with anyone in the command the continent's military, but their impermanence is a major draw. Soldiers can leave the base 3 times a year, which means they'll never be anything but temporary. If I were at this point, I would assume that the uprising didn't come for Jim and isn't going to come for me either, right? So I would try to use whatever I could to bargain my way out of this. I did incite. I'll incite for the revolution. Let me the fuck out of here. Come get me. Also, when I channel, there's no silver on me. You need me. Come get me. But instead, Ren's just like, I don't know. I don't make plans. I just fuck soldiers and do whatever I want.
I also have something to say. I have done nothing wrong ever in my life.
The worst.
The worst.
So then she's like, I need you to contact someone from the network, someone high on the food chain. They need to get me out of here. Why? Why would they come get you? You haven't made yourself look like an asset to them. They didn't come get Jim. Why would they come get you? You have to make the case for yourself. And Tana's like, Ren, nobody's gonna come get you. They said you had your chance at a safe house and a new identity and you chose to run. The network isn't interested in recruiting me, but even if they were, then what? Bitch, you have no sense of self-preservation whatsoever. She's like, what would I do? Change my appearance and live in plain sight of command? Your sense of like thought process makes no fucking sense to me. Also, are you gonna reckon with the fact that you basically killed your own uncle? That was your fucking fault. You're so bad at plans that you killed your own. You were the one that made them pull the trigger. You said shoot. You dropped the power that you had, and then they shot your uncle. That's your fault. She's like, the government can spew all the horseshit they want about our blood being toxic and how we're abominations who shouldn't exist, but the truth is they fear us. That's why they're trying to get rid of us. I won't watch anyone else I care about get executed, so Silver Elite it is. I just want to remind you that she has already worked with these people before, and instead of like reaching out in the last to offer her services with her unique capabilities that Batima doesn't have. Batima turned silver, Ren doesn't. They all know this. She was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. It's the strangest thing. I can't get them to care about me. Make a deal. What are you doing? You're supposed to be smart. You said in the book you were a strategist. Where's the strategy, bitch? I feel freer than I have in a long time. Girl, you're gonna make me lose my fucking mind. Your instincts are fucking terrible. We've established that throughout all of this, okay? That's like #1 lesson that you should learn in your life is your instincts suck. Second of all, you feel freer than you have in a long time. You're not only under the thumb of the fucking government, you're now under the thumb of the fucking uprising. You have even less control over yourself and less agency than you did 2 days ago. You shouldn't feel freer at all. You should be saying, hyper-focusing on this task is the only thing that makes me feel like I have a semblance of control right now. That would make sense. This doesn't. I don't know, I do feel kind of stupider for having Ren as a main character from Silver Elite. I mean, that was really, really stupid. This isn't really fantasy per se. She's more of like a, I don't know, dystopian with magic, red queen type shit, but we're gonna leave it on the list anyway. I mean, the Bible's not a fantasy book, and yet here sits David. Ren is pretty stupid. I don't know, I waffle between no spatial awareness or otherwise and stupider for having, I mean, I do feel kind of stupid. That book, like I haven't even been able to like finish my review of it because it's so ridiculous and stupid, and she's such an idiot of a main character and missing so much stuff, so much obvious stuff. Yeah, no, I'm stupider for having met her. It's decided. I'm also stupider for having met Violet Sorengale. Let's be serious. Violet Sorengale is ridiculous, and she tries to convince you that she's super, super smart, and she's not. She's not smart. She misses so much stuff. And honestly, it really like pisses me off how much the text tries to pass her off as somebody smart. Oh, we're gonna info dump / world build by having Violet explain it to us as an anxiety coping mechanism. Cool, so you can recite facts, but when you're in a situation where you're supposed to be picking up on things that are blatantly obvious to the reader, you should be picking them up. You're in it. You're actually in the scene. You're living it. And Violet doesn't pick that stuff up because she's stupid. He wants to help them problem solve. And a first year says to him, battle brief. It's not that I can't keep up with the information, ... And Xaden says, you learn what they teach you. Keep what you know, but recite whatever they tell you to. Violet's like, what the hell does he mean by that? What do you think? What do you think? Use context clues. 2 brain cells. Come on. It hits me then. Other than being gathered in a group of more than 3, there's nothing wrong with what they're doing here. There's no plot, no coup, no danger. You were just asking 4 sentences ago what he meant by keep what you know, but recite whatever they tell you to. Hello? And she's like, how did you know that she was poisoning everybody? Because literally everybody got poisoned. Every week, every time they had to fight specifically you. What would have made sense is if you had poisoned a bunch of people so that a bunch of people couldn't do their matches. But instead, you very specifically only poisoned the people who were going to fight you. So duh. This is, apparently Xaden is the only person with brain cells in this entire college. Oh, Violence, you're good, but I've known better poison masters. The trick is not to make it quite so obvious. Well, at least we agree that it was obvious, but if it's so obvious, why is a 3rd year writing student the only person who figured it out in a war college? Violet's like, he has the right to do whatever he wants, including execute me. Yeah, that'll surely build wing loyalty. And he asks, do you know what happens at threshing? And she says, are you calling me ignorant? Yeah. You just said you don't know hardly anything about dragon bonds, and that's what happens at threshing. All right, last but not least. I haven't read these in a while, but I remember you. And I asked Lou to put her as Bella Swan because she was so clearly a Bella Swan knockoff. Alara Dunlin from Seeker of Time is absolutely somebody that has made me stupider. I like how there's like barely anything in the middle here, and one of them is just like David. Alara Dunlin is such an idiot. And it's not because she's a teenager. And you know what? In the rest of these, I don't think that all these people are stupid, but that author in particular, I do think is a fucking idiot. And I say that with full chest. You can go look her up. She's a fucking idiot. And so that came across in the writing where I'm not even gonna like justify like, is it the character? Is it the book? It's all of it. Everything in that book is stupid, and I don't feel bad saying I'm stupider for having met this main character. I mean, first of all, the author's a bigot, and it even comes across like in her work because the only gay people are the villains. Alara is in a book that is, I mean, just every sentence is poor. It's almost like this, although I would say that this is like on a line level much worse because it's every other line. But the only thing that's as close to this in being like having basically no like natural feeling characters and really poor and shitty world building is that book. But like the fact that the author's like bigotry came through was so shitty. Man, it's all coming back to me. I'm remembering they're called PPs, the sex workers, PPs, pleasure players. They're called PPs. It's a really stupid book, and not just with the main character, but with every single part of it. I am stupider for having read it. So clear stones are these they're like these white stones that when you like shave off a part of it, it kind of looks clear, and then you rub it between your fingers and it disappears. And I'm like, what was the point? So between the gray water that cleans any article of clothing, including the human body, and no insects, so who knows how their crops are getting fertilized, but also the clear stones that disappear when you rub them. None of this was plot relevant. It was just to make a weird world. Also, the sky is green, but the water is gray. Okay. Another thing that just does not make any fucking sense is how are these people speaking not just English, but 21st century American English? The dialect is very specifically American English. How? When they don't even know what galaxy Arunix is in, and Jax is the only seeker. How is that possible? Another woman has come into the picture, and words can't express the positive influence she's had on my life. The positive influence? Okay. She's thinking to herself, he's not talking about me, is he? This is so dumb. It has taken 1 1/3 books to ask what her own biological mother's name was. Okay. Chandra, he said, tucking a stray hair behind my ear. I flinched at the unexpected gesture, and like her daughter, she was a very beautiful woman. So much of it like doesn't make sense. Like they have no insects, but somehow they have crops, and they have like the technology status of the planet that they portal to, because it's like kind of like a portal fantasy where like time gets messed up. Because we're in the real world, and then at the end of the book, she portals with this guy and her twin brother who she got separated from and then had a crush on for a bit, and then yeah. They end up on a different planet right at the end, and of course like the bad guy got compared to Chairman Mao in the book, and then the bad guy you find out is like gay. It's like a gay child abuser, like physically. And Alara's just like going through the motions. We also, like, there's this thing that books do lately, and I've read 3 different books recently, or I've read 2 different books recently that did this, and then this book, Seeker of Time, also did this, where it's like, I refuse to be a victim, because we like demonize the word victim. Alara Dunlan's book, the Alara Dunlan book, Seeker of Time, did this, but so did that book that Prisha was in, A Court So Cruel and Lovely, and what was the other book I just read? Oh, right! Nocticadia also just did this. Wait, no, it wasn't Nocticadia. It was this one. It was Evie. So, okay, so 3 of them all up here. 1, 2, 3, all come from books that demonize the word victim. I don't like the victim mentality these books say. Well, victim mentality is kind of a dog whistle, and that only comes from, of course, J.M. Bucklebeak's book. God, I haven't been able to make fun of her last name in years. Assistant to the Villain talks about, you know, I don't want to be a victim, and so does Prisha's book. He wasn't looking at me like I was a victim. That made me steadier. This book talks about being a victim too many times for me to be anything but uncomfortable. The way that it's discussed, I don't like it. I think it's weird. I had the same problem when I read J.M. Bucklebeak's books. She talks about victim mentality in those, and I think that that's coming through in here, and I don't like it. I don't like that. Empowerment is great, but talking in the derogatory about people being victims of things is a weird take that I don't like or appreciate. I don't like that. You put that in your book and I'm immediately lowering my star rating. I feel like, didn't Nocticadia also do that? I don't know. I have to edit that video. All right, so that's my tier ranking list. Let me see what y'all said, because Lou, my lovely PA Lou, made me an entire presentation on the feedback that we got from you all. Welcome to the dumbest Romantasy protagonist tier list. Somehow David ended up on here. I don't know. We're being unofficial. Introduction. We've always wondered, amidst all of the trash you read, who was the dumbest of them all. We wonder no longer. Methodology. We have compiled ethically sourced, organic, grass-fed opinions from your community. We then have used our degrees in data science and business intelligence, which her and her wife actually have, to treat the data and offer you insight on who your audience can't fucking stand. So without further ado, here comes Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, who's the dumbest of them all. According to your audience, it's Violet Sorengale. Yeah, that tracks. I only have literal hours and hours of footage of talking about how ridiculously stupid Violet Sorengale is. Violet got 25.25% of all the votes. So a quarter of your audience really doesn't vibe with the Khaleesi from Temu. You go girl, give us nothing. Lou. 65.34% of the people. You made graphs? Bitch, go off. 65.34% of the people nominating Violet consider her to be either the dumbest or one of the dumbest characters ever. Over 30% consider her the dumbest, S tier. 34.67% consider her one of the dumbest, A tier. Overall, people really dislike that Yaros wrote Violet as the smartest one in the room. Yes, I'm saying. And yet she kept doing dumb shit. Here's what they had to say. An idiot, just an idiot. He's still my Zayden. Oh, be fucking for real. I originally wrote out, the only thing she's competent at is, and I couldn't think of anything. You are the smartest of your year, the most cunning. I gulp at the compliment, brushing it off. I was trained as a scribe, not a writer. She has the reading comprehension of a kid in year 2. She consistently failed to understand the surface meaning of text. God forbid she try to look for anything, underlying messages, or analyze anything. She thinks smart sometimes, but it's mostly because the others are even dumber. That's true. So much of the tier list is just other people are stupider, and therefore our main character looks better just by virtue of that. I beg of this woman to make a singular smart decision without the need of Zayden's dick. It's supposed to be smart. For someone that the narrative touts as being the smartest, most genius girl in the whole wide world, she is remarkably bad at scraping 2 thoughts together. So true. The final dumbest ranking was Violet, fourth wing, 25.25%, Isla of Lightlark, 16%, Hayden from Powerless, 15%, Farah from Akatar, 12%, Evie from Assistant to the Villain, 6%. Honestly, that's bonkers. I'm surprised by this. Like, Evie is considerably more stupid than Farah. Ren from Silver Elite, fair, 6%, Saris from Quicksilver, 5%, Freya, a Fate Inked in Blood, 3%. You need to bump those numbers up. Scarlet from Caraval, Evangeline from Once Upon a Broken Heart being all the way down here, it feels like y'all were not listening to me at all when I was ranting. I mean, she needs to be like way up here. Like Farrah can get moved down. I mean, I already did this, didn't I? We also realized your audience is kind of unhinged. Here are some nominations we got. David, the Bible. Just almost every decision is magic, pixie, dream boy, stupid, bizarre. We're calling some of his story romantasy, right? Oh my gosh, you wrote her name Islam. It's Isla. Isla, or whatever her name is from the Lightlark disaster. Farha, Fira. I don't remember the name, but the chick of Agatar. The powerless main character, jail. Peyton Gray, question mark, powerless, whitest character ever written. Garlic and the Vampire. What? Because she's only stupid because she's 5 and I'm a massive garlic and carrot shipper. I'm sorry, what are we talking about? Garlic? This is a children's book. Unhinged. Meryl, the girl from Fox and the Falcon. Fair. She is stupid. Sarah's Fane from Quicksilver. Even the metal thought she was dumb. That's fair. Freya from A Fate Inked in Blood. Bjorn told you over and over again that Harold didn't kill his mother. He was the only one who knew where you were going to be. Why didn't you suspect him? Thank you. There was also a very special request. What the fuck is this? I don't know what I'm looking at. I want to kiss a kitty and tell her she's so pretty by Chu from Luna. Please stream. Thank you for the Brazilian meme. Muito obrigada. Conclusion. What is this? What am I looking at? Conclusion. This has been one of the best uses we have made of our degrees. Everybody shout out to Lou and her wife for the hard work behind all of this. If you want to write a smart character, make sure she's actually smart. Know the form might be anonymous, but the answers will still be read. Till the next exploratory data analysis of romantasy books. We did it! Okay, I hope that you had fun with this. I had fun. This was a time. It was a time and a place and a bunch of brain cells lost, as you can see. Lots and lots of brain cells just completely out the window. Thanks so much for watching. Leave your comments and questions down below. Let me know if you disagree with my tier. I don't know who did this. This was diabolical to put Lia of Sarah on here. How dare you? But thank you so much for being here. Let me know who else you would have put on this list, and I will see you next time. Okay. Bye. Hi, before I go, I have to say thank you for being a friend to my Therapy Bills patrons, and those are Alexander, Ashley H, Beck, Call Me Kodiak, Chocos, Homesick for Taiwan, DJ Rocktopus, Ellie, Emerald Dodge, Eric D, Jade, Jill, John E, Jory, Julie, Kai Brecker has not read Six of Crows, Kalaine OK, Katya, Quinn, Lady Kittybug, Lady Chips Loves Pride, Lemon Jelly, Lex, Other Lex, Lily, Maddie Miss, Megwin Rose, Melissa, Mixer Boneless, Not So Secretly a Skeleton, Peggy Lou Who, Piloting SRN, Rain, Ree, SJ, Samar, Scarlet, Steph B, 3 Raccoons in a Trench Coat, Urchin Audrey, and White Raven 13. Thank you all so much for being here and for being a friend. Huge thank you to my Potato Starch Marxist patrons, Aaron, Alejandra, Alicia, Bobisha, Banana, Fofana, Fofisha. What are we doing? Alicia, Althea, Amanda D, Andy, Angelica, Artie the Ninth, Ava, Barry, Baywing, Beck, Blue Moon Syrup, Bookish by Jenna, Bookish Rabbit, Bridget 108, Kate B, Caitlin, Carlin, Carly, Casper, Kate, Kathy, Celeste, Che, Cole, Colleen, Corwin, Cosmic Frog, Courtney, Darius, Danielle, Danita, Darren, Desiree Michelle, Dilf Enthusiast, Dorothea Supports Public Education, Draco-chan, Drive-By Thinker, Ebby, Emma, Aaron with 2 E's, Erica May, Aaron Starlight, Fox Waifu, Francis, Gadarn, Hannah C, Helen P, Hurry Singh, JM Tennant, Jackalope Max, Jay is on Olympus, Jelly V, Jen Michelle, Genderqueer, Jenny G, Jesse Ives, Jessa Sue, Jojo Bookish, Juicy Wizard, Caitlin M, Katie L, Katrina, Kayla, Kaylee, Kayala, Kendra, Kiara, KMTB, Kayana, Laughing Cat Dog, Laura is Angry, Lauren G, Lazarus Ray, Lindsay M, LP, Lou Siri, Lustful Octopus, Martin, Mataraptor, Madison, Man-Eating Plant, Megan, Malara, Mima Who, Morgan the Friendly Ghost, Myth Lesbian, NM Rap, Natural Blues, Nicole G, Paige P, Penelope, Penny Chilling, Foxglove, Pick a God and Pray, Plague Carrier, Pandemonium, Queen Cereal, Rach, Rachel B, Rebecca, Rebecca R, Ren Flynn, Rhea, Reese, Ronnie, Rosie, Sikoria, Saintbringer, Sakya Lume, Sarah H, Sarah the Bear, Shamed, Shannon, Sheen Onion, Sean, Sophie, Talia, That One Cute Chick, This Is Not a Trap, Too Thick to Work Tomorrow, Triple M, Taito Phoenix, and Unicorn Jenny. Thank you all so much for being a friend.